And here we go. That should be, we should be having sound now. My apologies. Thank you, Neil Lau, for pointing that out. I think we should be good to go with the sound for now. We have just announced the upcoming Filsinger Cup tournaments that will be taking place throughout the month of September. All of the champions from the past year, men's, women's, and tag team, will be vying for the championship tournaments to be held on November the 1st in Oklahoma City. And we just reviewed the brackets. If you were watching on the video, we'll not go through the video brackets once again. Thank you, Neil, for getting it together for us. We have some tournament action to take place here tonight. Before we went to air, we did have some dark matches brought to you by Patriot Championship Wrestling. These are not Filsinger Cup tournament matches, but we opened the show with Roddy Piper battling against the Great Gamma, and it was the Great Gamma with his power and the Gamma throw pinning Roddy Piper in tonight's opening contest. Butch Reed picked up a much-needed victory in singles competition over Jerry Jarrett by way of a flying shoulder tackle. And just before we went to air, a mild to moderate upset as Ilio DiPaolo took down Mark Henry, forcing Henry to tap out to the leg Nelson. And now we are ready to kick off Filsinger Cup tournament action for 2025, starting off with tag team competition. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with no time limit, one fall to a finish. And this is an opening round matchup in the Filsinger Cup Tag Team Tournament for 2025. Introducing first, we've got two fan favorite teams set to hook up here tonight. Introducing first, from Denton County, Texas, at a total combined weight of 494 pounds, it is David Von Erich and his brother, KERRY Von Erich, the Von Erich brothers, returning to action for the Filsinger Cup Tournament. And their opponents, first out of Atlanta, Georgia, he stands at 5'11", weighs 236 pounds. This is Mr. Wrestling number 2. And believe it or not, his partner, Mr. Wrestling himself, Tim Woods, 6'1", 237 pounds, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So Mr. Wrestling and Mr. Wrestling 2 to take on the Von Erich brothers. All the matches in the Filsinger Cup down to the championship match, disqualification rules are in effect, and it will be Mr. Wrestling 2 and KERRY Von Erich starting things off for their respective teams, and it is KERRY Von Erich opening up in control with a hip toss. That's a power move. He takes Mr. Wrestling 2 over and down to the canvas. Wrestling 2, both men quickly back to their feet. And as they come together again, it is Wrestling 2 with a big elbow smash to the head of KERRY Von Erich that stuns KERRY. Opening exchange there, very respectful between these two men. And as they tee up together again, as they come together in the opening lockup, KERRY Von Erich quickly maneuvering Mr. Wrestling 2 into an abdominal stretch. And Mr. Wrestling 2 is going to leave the ring and head out down to the arena floor. But KERRY's just going to grab him and throw him right back into the ring. We're going to pick up right where we left off with KERRY Von Erich in the ring and in control. And now KERRY Von Erich goes to the Iron Claw. He's going for victory right away. Mr. Wrestling 2 able to get to the ropes, but the damage done there as KERRY Von Erich has asserted himself early in this match. And now he goes right back to the Iron Claw. And he may get a submission here if Mr. Wrestling can't do anything about it. But on a roll of Snake Eyes, the pin save is successful, as Mr. Wrestling 2 about had to give it up right off of the opening lockup. And now it is Mr. Wrestling in the ring To break up the pin count, the referee orders Mr. Wrestling to leave the ring, and that's going to give KERRY and David a chance to get a little double team action in here. And on a roll of 9, that is going to be a running forearm smash delivered by David to Mr. Wrestling 2. And David Von Erich is now in control. David goes to the step over toe hold. Mr. Wrestling 2 rolls over and escapes out of that one. Tries to take David over with a hip toss. David blocks that. And David comes back instead with a big Beal throw. Again, putting Mr. Wrestling 2 on the canvas. Mr. Wrestling 2 desperately needs to make a tag to his partner, but David Von Erich remains in control with a big drop kick. And Wrestling 2 is staggered back into the neutral corner, where David again tries that step over toe hold. And again, Mr. Wrestling 2 able to maneuver his way out of that. And now a big elbow smash delivered by Mr. Wrestling 2 that stuns David. David not able to make the tag. Mr. Wrestling 2 finally tags in his partner, Mr. Wrestling. And Mr. Wrestling entering the match for the first time. Comes right into a double leg takedown and ride. Getting the best of David Von Erich in the technical standpoint, but David powers his way out of that. And this time is able to get the step over toe hold on Mr. Woods. So David now keeping control and going, Tim Woods finally getting back to his feet, and David just socks him right upside the head with a right hand and tags in brother KERRY. KERRY Von Erich now facing Mr. Wrestling, and it is KERRY attempting a waist lock. He's got him, he goes behind and completes the waist lock. Mr. Wrestling unable to make the tag as KERRY stays in control. He's going to go for a press slam now. That is a choice D maneuver, so he will need a roll of 8 or lower to hit the press slam, and he got him up and down to the canvas hard. Very impressive move. KERRY's going to go quickly to the cover. Not able to get the pinfall, but the Von Erich brothers looking really, really good against a very solid team of opponents here as we open up the Filsinger Cup action. And now KERRY is going to pitch Mr. Wrestling out of the ring and down to the arena floor. And on the arena floor, it is KERRY who drives the back of Mr. Woods into the ring apron. And that is going to leave a mark. Mr. Wrestling not feeling very good about that, as KERRY now has Wrestling in the Iron Claw. He's going for that Iron Claw again. He may get the submission this time if Mr. Wrestling 2 cannot make the save, and he can't get there. So KERRY Von Erich forces Mr. Wrestling to submit to the Iron Claw, and the Von Erich brothers have won the opening matchup here in the 2025 Filsinger Cup Tournament. So congratulations to David and KERRY winning with the Iron Claw, as it is KERRY forcing Mr. Wrestling to submit. So congratulations to the team of David and KERRY Von Erich. Kathy Evans now joining us. Good evening to you, Kathy, and welcome to Heartland Championship Wrestling from the Dave Cave, as we are enjoying the opening night of the Filsinger Cup Tournaments for 2025. Our next match will be a singles contest, scheduled for one fall with no time limit. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first out of Katsaro, Greece. He stands at 5'10", weighs 185 pounds. This is George TRAGOS. George TRAGOS entering the ring to take part in the Filsinger Cup Championship Tournament. And his opponent out of Louisville, Kentucky, stands at 5'10", weighs 236 pounds. This is Ed "Strangler" Lewis. So Ed Lewis enters the ring, greeting the fans respectfully as he makes his way down to ringside, including a respectful nod to one Stu Hart in attendance here tonight, accompanying Neil Lau as the current Velvet Champ. I think ODB tried to get in, and she was denied entrance at the doorway for public intoxication. But Stu Hart and Neil Lau here together at ringside to take in the opening contests of the Filsinger Cup Tournament for 2025 as Ed Strangler Lewis and George Tragos set to do battle. Tragos surprised some people in 2025, winning a territorial belt and defending it successfully. But Strangler Lewis, one of the most impressive grapplers in the territory, multiple-time former Patriot heavyweight champion, and as they come together, it is Lewis taking control with a single leg takedown, but Tragos with a quick escape and a reversal, and Tragos now has captured Ed Lewis in a grinding toe hold. Toe hold applied by Tragos. Lewis going to crawl out of the ring and down to the arena floor. Tragos is just going to wait him out and force Lewis to make that helpless crawl back into the ring, where Tragos is waiting with an upset on his mind. And now it is the Grecian sleeper grip. Tragos with a rear chokehold. Ed Lewis, of course, the master of that chokehold, the Strangler's headlock. But in this case, Tragos with his own sleeper grip is starting to take the measure of Ed Lewis. And now it is going to be Tragos attempting a running lariat. That is a power move. He'll need a roll of 5 or lower to hit that. And he nailed it. He nailed a running lariat. He's going to go for a quick cover. The pinroll snake eye is not going to happen as Lewis kicks out. But Tragos coming out with a good display of technical wrestling and an upset on his mind as Tragos now goes back to the sleeper grip and puts Lewis down on one knee. Lewis in trouble here as Tragos has taken control. He's going to go for that double leg Nelson now, and he is not able to get that as Lewis powers his way out. And Lewis on the reversal with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes George Tragos, and on a roll of 5, it is a running shoulder tackle by George Tragos that puts Ed Lewis back down on the mat. Tragos keeping Lewis off balance, keeping him away from his offense. And here is Tragos now with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Lewis, and on a roll of 9, it is a big kick by George Tragos that stuns Ed Lewis. Tragos keeps on the offense with a bear hug and a takedown. Both men now scrambling to their feet. They come together in the center of the ring. And now it is Lewis catching a front chancery on Tragos. Lewis holding that front chancery. Tragos trying to find the counter to that. And instead, it is Lewis with a single leg takedown that takes Tragos down to the mat. Lewis taking control down there with a double wrist lock, and Tragos is down. Nicely executed series of submission moves there by Strangler Lewis. And now he's got the headlock. The Strangler's headlock has been applied. The submission roll here is a 4. And on a roll of 8, Tragos survives. But once Lewis gets that headlock in place, it is going to be trouble. And now he maintains the headlock. Can he get a submission of 5 or lower? And on a roll of 2, he got him. So much to the surprise of no one, Ed Lewis takes the victory over George Tragos by way of the Strangler's headlock. Congratulations to Ed Lewis for an impressive win. Although Tragos did put him through the paces and made it a tough row to hoe for Ed Lewis here tonight as Lewis moves on in the Filsinger Cup Tournament. All right, so congratulations to Ed Lewis as he moves on in the tournament. And that will bring us to another tag team match in the tournament. And as we go to another tag team match, let's take a look back at last year's outcomes. Let's see, scroll. The winner of last year's Filsinger Cup, I believe, was Pat Patterson won the cup last year. Yeah, Pat Patterson won the Filsinger Cup singles tournament last year, and it was that victory that propelled Pat Patterson to his reign as World Heavyweight Champion. So we'll see if the Filsinger Cup tournament this year can propel another wrestler to greatness as it did Pat Patterson in the year 2024. Last year's winners also included the Steiner brothers, picking up their first ever Filsinger Cup Championship tournament. Jordan Grace was the winner of the ladies tournament, and the ladies tag team tournament was won last year by the team of Angelina Love and Mandy Leone. So that was last year's winners, and now we are ready to get back to action here tonight. Another tag team contest in the Filsinger Cup tournament upcoming. As the ring is being prepared, the stage is being set. And we are ready for our introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall to a finish. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first from Perry, Oklahoma, standing at 5'11", weighing 220 pounds. This is Danny Hodge. And his tag team partner hails from Woodland Hills, California. Standing at 6'2", weighing 240 pounds, this is WILBUR Snyder. As we welcome Bear 805 to our Filsinger Cup tournament first round matchups. And their opponents are a team that is very angry and frustrated. They have lost their Patriot Tag Team Championship, and they are currently looking to get back on track. First, standing at 6 foot even, out of the Isle of Fiji, weighing 250 pounds, this is Jimmy SNUKA. And his tag team partner hails from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He stands at 6'7", weighs 284 pounds. This is Bruiser BRODY. So Bruiser BRODY and Jimmy SNUKA, former Patriot Tag Team Champions, to take on the team of WILBUR Snyder and Danny Hodge. As Dwayne Mart's YouTube network joins us, check out that wonderful channel. And we are ready for action here tonight in Boston as Jimmy SNUKA and Danny Hodge will start things off for their respective teams. And it is Jimmy SNUKA who wins the opening initiative role, and SNUKA who comes out with a drop kick. And that stuns Danny Hodge and puts Danny Hodge down on the canvas. Jimmy SNUKA now with a chance. He's going to go right up for the Superfly Leap right off of the get-go. And he nails the Superfly Leap. That is going to make a pin roll of 6. WILBUR Snyder going to have to try for the pin save, unable to get there. Will we see a pin? Yes, we will. How about that? In less than 1 minute, Jimmy SNUKA pins Danny Hodge with the Superfly Leap. He took him right down with a big drop kick off of the get-go, and that put Danny Hodge on his backside and in the drop zone. And Jimmy SNUKA wasted no time with the Superfly Leap, scoring the pinfall victory. Brody and SNUKA are back with a vengeance. How about that? We barely got the introductions out of the way. 1, 2, 3, it is over. So Jimmy SNUKA and Bruiser BRODY move on in the tournament. Say goodbye to Danny Hodge and WILBUR Snyder. Certainly didn't see that coming. I think the outcome was not a shock, but the time of the fall certainly was a shock in that situation. As Jimmy SNUKA not getting paid by the hour here tonight in Boston, they just want to move on, and move on they did. And that takes us to our next match, which is a singles match in the Filsinger Cup tournament for 2025. The following contest is scheduled for one fall to a finish. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first from the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. He stands at 6'1". He weighs 247 pounds. This is Terry Funk. And his opponent hails from Eagle Pass, Texas. Standing at 6'9", weighing 340 pounds. This is Blackjack Mulligan. So Blackjack Mulligan set to take on Terry Funk, and this is going to be a return to action for Terry Funk, injured some almost 6 months ago. Suffered a leg injury at the hands of Ron Garvin, and that's set into motion a lot of the events that have made a very tough road to hoe for the faction of 3W as of late. Funk's still not at 100%, still suffering some effects from that injury, but his injury has been upgraded to minor, and he is able to participate here tonight. He wasn't going to miss his opportunity to be part of the Filsinger Cup tournament over a little boo-boo on his leg. But Blackjack Mulligan is sure to take advantage of that given the opportunity. And sure enough, it will be Blackjack Mulligan taking the opening initiative role with an arm drag that takes Terry Funk down to the canvas. Blackjack Mulligan's right on him. And here is a big lariat that just nails Terry Funk. Blackjack Mulligan pulling no punches here. And now a big boot to the face again, sending Funk sprawling down to the mat. I don't think he's been hit like that in a minute. And now another big lariat from Mulligan. He is going to go for the pinfall. The pin roll is snake eyes. Funk able to kick out, but his running lights have been dimmed in a hurry. Blackjack Mulligan in control, pitching Terry Funk out of the ring and down to the arena floor. It is playtime on the arena floor, and on a roll of 7, it is Blackjack Mulligan winning the brawl on the arena floor and dropping Terry Funk throat first onto the steel security railing. Jeffrey Guterman joining us here. Long time no see, my friend Jeffrey. Blackjack Mulligan now in control with the trapezius claw. Funk trying to make his way back up to his feet and trying to get something going here against the powerhouse Blackjack Mulligan. Here is a blatant claw choke applied by Mulligan. The referee puts the count on him. And as Mulligan breaks the hold, it is Terry Funk who grabs Mulligan and spins him around and drops him with a neck breaker out of nowhere. Terry Funk coming up with a big move that takes Mulligan down to the canvas. And now let's see if Funk can get something done. He goes to the sleeper. Sleeper hold applied, and Mulligan is going to quickly escape out to the arena floor once again. And this time it is Mulligan winning the brawl on the arena floor and suplexing Terry Funk onto the concrete. Funk not liking that in his return to action. Mulligan back in control. And Mulligan now is going to go up for a death jump. That may not be his usual preferred tactic, but Terry Funk is weakened by that leg injury. But on a roll of 3, that is bad news for Blackjack Mulligan. As Terry Funk caught him going up, throws him down off of the top rope, and Mulligan's going to go for, Funk is going to go for the cover. And on a roll of snake eyes, he got him. How about that? Out of nowhere, Terry Funk pulling victory out of the jaws of defeat. Another snake eyes here tonight in Boston as Funk caught Mulligan going up for a death jump. Mulligan too smart by half there, thinking he would take advantage of Funk and his injured condition. But Funk was Johnny on the spot, grabbing Mulligan off the top turnbuckle, throwing him to the canvas, catching him in an inside cradle for the pinfall. And just like that, Terry Funk has emerged victorious in tonight's Filsinger Cup first round matchup. So congratulations to Terry Funk, getting a much needed victory in his return to action and some much needed momentum for his faction, whatever we want. And that, ladies and gentlemen, quickly brings us to our main event of the evening. Dice must have a date. Very quick matches, says Dwayne Martz. Indeed, that seems to be the case here tonight, as it is time now for our main event. Two old rivals who have been down this road before, now squaring off in one of the most important matches of their 2025 campaigns, the first round of the Filsinger Cup Championship Tournament. The following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 30-second time limit. Well, no, that's not true. You see what I did there. Scheduled for one fall to a finish. Disqualification rules will be in effect. Introducing first out of Paradise Valley, Arizona. He stands at 6'4". He weighs 275 pounds. This is the superstar Billy Graham. And his opponent hails from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, standing at 6'2", weighing 237 pounds. This is the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle and superstar Billy Graham set to do battle here in Boston in the opening round of our Filsinger Cup tournaments for the year 2025. And as they come together in the ring, it is Kurt Angle winning the opening initiative role. And Angle with a waistlock takedown. Graham quickly to his feet. And as they come back together in the center of the ring, it is Graham tossing Kurt Angle across the ring and just flexing. Very arrogant move there by superstar Billy Graham as he put Angle down on the canvas. Angle getting back to his feet. Not impressed as they come back together in the center of the ring. And now it is a quick forearm shot delivered by Billy Graham that stuns Kurt Angle. Billy Graham, the stronger of the two men in this match. And now going to go with a attempt at an elbow to the side of the head. Angle reverses that. And it is Angle who ducks behind and goes behind superstar Billy Graham, up, over, and down to the canvas hard with a German suplex. Punishing move there by Kurt Angle, a German suplex. That is going to cost superstar Billy Graham a point of fatigue. And Angle now is in control. And Angle now hits that German again. A second German does more damage to Billy Graham, as Angle systematically working over his man. And Angle now with a third German, putting Graham on the canvas for now a third time. Kurt Angle with a series of 3 quick German suplexes. And now a power bomb delivered by Kurt Angle onto Billy Graham. A surprising show of strength. Not so much strength as leverage. Kurt Angle can leverage any human being on the planet. And Billy Graham is no exception, as Angle comes at him now with a snap suplex. Graham finally getting to his feet. They come together in the center of the ring. Angle still in control, goes for the double leg takedown. Superstar Billy Graham blocks the double leg and comes back with a attempt at a back body drop. And he is able to get him up, over, and down to the canvas. Nice reversal there by Billy Graham. Billy Graham now in control with another toss across the ring and another big flex. I think this time Graham's just trying to catch his breath and get a little bit of a break after that punishment that he endured at the hands of Kurt Angle. But as Angle gets to his feet, Graham just tosses him down to the canvas again. Billy Graham exerting himself physically, not doing any real harm, but now a big knee smash to the back of Kurt Angle by Billy Graham has Angle wincing. They come together again, and now a headlock and a thrust to the throat by Billy Graham. Dirty tactics there, earning Graham a lecture from the referee. But Graham nonchalantly then hits a running shoulder tackle that puts Angle back down onto the canvas. And the match now continues with Graham in control. A knee smash to the back. Angle still slowly trying to get to his feet. Graham has gotten some offense here, but cannot keep Angle down. Another big hip toss across the ring, and once again Angle staggering back to his feet. And here is a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Kurt Angle, and now a big kick by Superstar Graham stuns Kurt Angle. Graham now follows that up. He's going to attempt that back body drop again. This time Angle blocks that move, and it is Angle coming back with a big power bomb, slamming Billy Graham down to the canvas. Another good leverage move there by Kurt Angle. He is out wrestling Billy Graham by far here tonight. And now Angle going to try a moonsault. This may not be one of his better ideas. This is a choice E maneuver. He will need a roll of 10 or lower to hit the moonsault, and he does hit the moonsault. But Graham is able to get to his feet. Angle stays on him now with a big backbreaker. Angle goes for the cover. The pin roll here is 4. And on a roll of 11, Graham is able to kick out. We did not get snake eyes this time. But Angle is back in control. And now Angle is going to go up for a death jump. Death jump coming up by Kurt Angle. And he nails Billy Graham with a big flying shoulder block off of the top turnbuckle. Angle now back in control. Overhead belly to belly. Graham hits the canvas hard and rolls out of the ring and down to the arena floor. This is a danger zone for Kurt Angle. And on a roll of 3, it is Billy Graham dragging Kurt Angle out of the ring and Irish whipping Kurt Angle into the ring barricade. This is where Graham has a chance to do some damage. Action returns to the center of the ring, and now it is Graham fixing to go up for a death jump. He's going to think better of that, and instead he is going to just smash his knee into the back of Kurt Angle, trying to further weaken Kurt Angle. And now another whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Kurt Angle, and now it is a knee to the head delivered by Kurt Angle to Billy Graham as Billy Graham was charging the turnbuckle. Angle back in control. Another power bomb puts Billy Graham back on the canvas. Angle now is going to go for the ankle lock. He's going to go for the ankle lock. The submission roll here is 5, and on a roll of 10, he is able to survive the ankle lock, but that actually adds a point of effectiveness. If Angle goes to the ankle lock once again, Graham has taken all kinds of punishment in this match. Angle has been relatively unscathed. Graham trying to escape from the ring. Angle not going to permit that, and instead, Angle with another big German suplex sends Graham crashing down to the canvas. Kurt Angle on the top of his game tonight. And now a snap suplex by Angle puts Graham back down onto the canvas. Graham has taken all kinds of punishment here, and he adds to the damage with another big backbreaker across the knee. Graham again going to try and roll out to the arena floor, only this time on a roll of 10. Let's see, ring a 10. The opponent comes out of the ring and tries to hit you with an object like a steel chair. So it is Angle going to the foreign object. He's got a sledgehammer. He must have taken that away from the Grand Wizard of Wrestling at ringside. Will he be disqualified? No. As Angle is able to disarm the Grand Wizard of Wrestling at ringside. And Angle comes back now with an overhead belly to belly that sends Billy Graham crashing down to the floor. Angle rolls back into the ring ahead of the 10 count, to be joined by Billy Graham and another power bomb delivered by Angle. D. Scott Howard joining us here as Angle is in control, and Angle now with another big backbreaker. Billy Graham slowly trying to get to his feet. Angle stays on him with a European uppercut. Angle keeping on the offensive. Now maneuvers Billy Graham into a body scissors. Graham is able to power his way out of that. Both men get back to their feet. And as they come together, it is a double leg takedown by Kurt Angle that puts Billy Graham back onto the canvas. And now Graham gets to his feet. Angle with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Billy Graham. And on a roll of 7, it is a running back elbow delivered by Kurt Angle that stuns superstar Billy Graham. And now another body scissors attempted. Graham powers his way out of that one again. And as they come together this time, it is Graham attempting an elbow drop. Angle dodges out of the way of the elbow and puts Graham back on the canvas with another big backbreaker. Angle going to go for the cover. He may get the 3 count. He will not as superstar Billy Graham kicks out. And Angle now is going to go back up for another death jump. But this time Graham caught him. Graham caught him and throws Angle down to the canvas. Another tactical error by Kurt Angle in his desperation to finish off Billy Graham. Graham now is going to come with a top rope knee drop that stuns Kurt Angle. Angle laying on the mat stunned. Graham standing over him and tosses him across the ring and down to the canvas yet again. Miho Burns is here. Let's go Superstar. It's going to be an uphill road for the Superstar in this situation, as he goes for a back body drop up over and down to the canvas hard goes Kurt Angle. Both men getting to their feet. Angle quicker on the recovery. Tries for a double leg takedown. Billy Graham powers his way out of that. And it is Billy Graham with a knee smash to the back of Kurt Angle that stuns Angle. Can Billy Graham take advantage this time? He goes with a whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Kurt Angle, and on a roll of 10, Graham catches Angle with a big kick. Graham follows that up with another whip to the turnbuckle. And this time it is Angle coming off of the turnbuckle and dodging a charging Billy Graham, and Billy Graham smacks into the turnbuckle post and falls out of the ring and down to the arena floor. That's not the worst thing that could happen to Billy Graham, but Kurt Angle is just going to wait for Billy Graham. He's not going to take the bait. Angle is not going to leave the ring. He is going to force Billy Graham to make that helpless crawl back into the ring where Angle is waiting. And Angle drags Billy Graham back into the ring with a snap suplex. Graham is hurt. Angle is on him. And now another big German suplex by Kurt Angle has again done more damage to the neck and upper back of Billy Graham. And Angle now is going to go for a big power bomb, continuing to punish the neck and back of Billy Graham, and now a snap suplex again. Graham struggling to his feet. He has fought gamely. Angle is on him. Whip to the turnbuckle. Off the turnbuckle comes Billy Graham, and on a roll of 9, it is Angle with a big kick that stuns Billy Graham. Angle now with another European uppercut. Graham standing his ground. Angle with a waistlock takedown, blocked by Graham. And Graham instead with a quick forearm shot that stuns Kurt Angle. Graham attempting to rally, a knee smash to the back. Graham trying to keep the momentum. Graham with a running shoulder tackle. Angle gets to his feet. Graham is on him. He's going to try for a scoop slam. That is a choice D maneuver. He will need 7 or lower to hit that. And on a roll of 7, he got him down with a scoop slam. And it is Angle who's going to roll out of the ring and down to the arena floor. But on the arena floor, that is where superstar Billy Graham wants to play, as he grabs Angle and drops Angle stomach first across the steel security railing. Billy Graham now with a chance to do some damage. He is going to go up for, he's not going to go up for another death jump. Instead, he is going to go for a repeated series of kicks and stomps and kicks and stomps. Stomping a mud hole into Kurt Angle against the turnbuckle. And now more of these kicks and stomps. Billy Graham just trying to weaken Kurt Angle any way he can. And now a full Nelson applied by Billy Graham. Just trying to slow down the Olympic gold medalist. As Graham tries to dish out the punishment. Another big Beal throw across the ring sends Angle tumbling. Billy Graham goes for the shoulder tackle. Angle ducks out of the way of that. And Angle instead tries to catch a double leg takedown. Graham too strong for that. On the reversal, Graham with another big Beal throw across the ring, and down to the canvas goes Kurt Angle. I'll tell you, Graham is holding his own, but he just can't put Kurt Angle down to do any real damage. As now another big Beal throw puts Angle back on the canvas. Can Graham follow up this time? He goes back to the full Nelson. But Kurt Angle with that very strong upper body, able to withstand that. And Graham has to keep on the punishment with another big Beal throw across the ring. Graham now going to try that whip to the turnbuckle yet again. And this time, both men bounce off of the turnbuckle with big specialty moves. And it is Graham who is going to win that confrontation with a big knee smash to the chest. Angle finally down, and Graham is going to go for an over-shoulder backbreaker. Over the shoulder backbreaker. The pinroll here is Snake Eyes. And once again, we do not get the Snake Eyes. Instead, Angle able to kick out as the match continues with Billy Graham in control, and now he's got the Superstar Bear Hug. The Superstar Bear Hug locked in. The submission roll here 4 or lower, and on a roll of 12, Angle is not going to hear anything about a submission out of the Superstar Bear Hug. And now another over-the-shoulder backbreaker delivered by Billy Graham. Angle tries to stagger to his feet. Another Beal throw from Graham puts Angle on the canvas. Another Beal throw, this time blocked by Kurt Angle. Angle comes back instead with a power bomb that sends Graham crashing to the mat hard. Can Angle get a finish here? He goes back to the ankle lock. The submission roll here will be 10 or lower, and on a roll of 6, it is over. A monumental effort by Superstar Billy Graham, but Kurt Angle hit that ankle lock for the second time to put an end to the match for Angle. Say goodbye to Superstar Billy Graham. Congratulations to Kurt Angle for a big victory over a very tough opponent and longtime rival, Superstar Billy Graham. All right, that is the conclusion of our matches for tonight. Let's take you back to the tournament bracket before we go, and we will fill in tonight's results. So let's see, we had 3 singles matches tonight. We saw Ed Strangler Lewis defeating George Tragos, and that will put Lewis into the quarterfinals against Nick Aldis. Should be a good match there. We also saw Terry Funk get the victory over Blackjack Mulligan, and that will put Terry Funk against the reigning world heavyweight champion Pat Patterson in our quarterfinal round. Or excuse me, that would be the round of 16. And finally, we saw Kurt Angle get the victory, and it will be Kurt Angle going on to face Johnny Valentine in a singles competition. So yeah, we've got some good matches to look forward to. Over on the tag team bracket, we saw the Von Erich brothers with a big win here tonight. They will go on to face the Midnight Express. And over on the other side, we saw Bruiser, Brody, and Jimmy Snuka. They have a date with the Steiner brothers coming up. So that is what we have to look forward to throughout the month of September and into October. All right, that is going to wrap things up from the Dave Cave here tonight. Dwayne Martz, thank you for joining us. Miho Burns, D. Scott Howard, Neil Lau, Jeffrey Guterman, Bear805, Kathy Evans, and I believe that is everybody. Thank you all for checking out tonight's action. Should be back on the channel next Saturday night, and I believe next Saturday night we will be due to check out Heartland Ladies Wrestling, if memory serves. Yes, indeed, it will be Heartland Ladies Wrestling next week with a couple of quarterfinal matchups from the Heartland Ladies Filsinger Cup Tournaments. All right, from the Dave Cave, this is Dave Little signing out. Thank you one and all for tuning in tonight.